Hello, everybody. Welcome to Uncommon Analysis. Well, unsurprisingly, the advise and consent Senate hearings regarding the approval or review of Pete Hegseth for the Secretary of Defense, more like every other one of these hearings that we've seen for God knows how long. These people are clowns. They're just clowns. The minute the cameras are on them, they're not worried about. And the role of advise and consent, right, is that they're supposed to advise and consent on what the president has asked for, the executive branch has asked for. So this is supposed to be an investigative or discussion around whether or not Hegseth is, worthy of being the Secretary of Defense. And what we got, typical, particularly from the left, when the candidate is not from the left, and I'm not saying this is purely leftist either, the Republicans do this as well, was a clown show. It was a shit show. It was a joke on all levels. There was no intent here to actually find out anything. This was a bunch of politicians getting up in front of the cameras, just trying to pontificate and get their soundbite moment. They're not even sound bites anymore, right? They want their viral moment, right? That's all this was. It's been a joke. I personally, honestly, I don't give a flying rat's rear end if Hegseth gets confirmed or not. I'll be honest. I don't have a dog in this fight. It's Trump. Trump's the president. Trump won. Trump gets to pick who he wants. And the Senate does have oversight here. So if Hegseth gets approved or doesn't get approved, but it's not something that I give really two shakes of a rat's tail about. I could care less. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm not coming at this like I want Hegseth to be approved. I think Donald Trump won. Donald Trump has every right to appoint who he wants to these various positions. And I think, the Senate has every right to question him and do legitimate investigation and see if he's worthy of it. Advise the president yes or no on that. I think that's fine. But this was not what this was, and that's not what these hearings have been for a long, long time. Right? And I don't this is just grandstanding. This is nonsensical garbage. And that's all it was meant to be. That's all it was intended to be today. If you think anything was discovered today through any of this meeting, no, nothing was discovered new about this meeting, right? Oh, the Democrats were like, we can't vote for him until we see the background check. And what happened with the background check? The background check came back yesterday, and it was basically deemed completely unremarkable, right? Literally unremarkable. So you would think, okay, let's do what we got to do here. Let's find out more about this guy's interview, and let's see if he's worthy of the position. Now, understand, if you wish to say he doesn't have the background you would expect for this type of position, I would agree. He doesn't have the background that typically gets appointed to this position, but not exclusively. There are people that don't fit the standard background that weren't generals in the military or defense contractor CEOs or other things like that. But at the end of the day, it's Trump's choice, and Trump, unlike people who spent their lives in government, Trump actually will fire someone. Okay, Trump is known to most people. What's Trump's signature thing? Before he got into politics, what was Trump known for? Most Americans knew Trump from The Apprentice, right? What was his catchline? What was his tagline? You're fired. Now, I know it's a reality, quote-unquote, TV show, and that's not the way, things go in the real world. But the reality is Trump will fire someone. We know this, right? And unlike politicians and career bureaucrats, if Trump brings somebody in and he isn't pleased with how it's going, I have no doubt Trump will fire him and bring in somebody else. These people want to act like this is a lifetime appointment. They want to treat this like it's a judgeship or something along those lines, which it's not. And these people have approved people with far worse backgrounds than Pete Hegseth to judgeships that had no business being on the bench. Our last Supreme Court justice appointed by Biden has no business being on the bench. I'm sorry, she does not. have any business being on the bench. But she's there anyway. But get back to the point. These hearings are a joke. They're not about finding out anything. They're not intended to find out anything. That's not their point for existing. This is all about political grandstanding. This is all about trying to get a soundbite, trying to get a viral meme, trying to rile up your base. And I think most people are going to say, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck are these people doing? Elizabeth Warren interviewed him, right? And I'm not going to play all of her because it's just mind-numbing. She went for about over 5 minutes grilling him because he has taken the stand that women in combat are not the same as men, because if they were, they wouldn't have to lower standards. And that's, they've had to lower the standards to let women into positions within the military and meet quotas and everything else. And he said in the past he's not a fan of that. And they're going to grill on it. Now, the women have been in the military for a long time. They're not going anywhere. And yes, you cannot argue with his point that they have lowered standards and changed standards to allow women in the military. Anyone who was in the military when they did these pushes. Now, I have military in my family, both male and female. So I'm not saying women don't belong in the military. That's my point, not my point at all. But you cannot argue men and women are the same, and they have not changed standards to get women in the military. And they have also not given preferential treatment to women at times in the military to try to advance equality over the years. We can go through that sometime if you'd like. I know women in the military, they've served nobly and well. I know men that have served nobly well. I don't think Hegseth has said women can't serve in the military. I know they want to make a big deal about that, right? Because just like they try to make abortion a big thing, this is what they're going to do. I don't think Hegseth's going to go in there and go, all right, women, now that I'm in charge, you are all delegated to second-class roles. You can't serve, blah, blah, blah. That's not going to happen. And everybody knows that's not going to happen, but they're going to act like that's what's going to happen because they need chaos. But anyway, after 5 minutes or so of this pontificating and lecturing and wiggling her little, high cheekbone finger at Hegseth, she came up with, let's talk about this.
Not belong in combat. Now, Mr. Hegseth, you have written that after they retire, generals should be banned from working for the defense industry for 10 years. You and I agree on the corrosive effects of the revolving door between the Pentagon and defense contractors. It's something I would have liked to talk with you about if you'd come and been willing to visit with me. But the question I have for you on this is, will you put your money where your mouth is and agree that when you leave this job, you will not work for the defense industry for 10 years?
Senator, it's not even a question I've thought about because
it's not one. Think about it right now.
It's not one. My motivation for this job
I understand
has never
that.
been
I just
about
need
what
a
could
yes or no
conceivably
here.
come next.
Time is short. I just need a yes or no.
I would consult with the president about what the policy should be at the Defense Department.
In other words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. You're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
She literally gets laughed at. You hear her condescending tone. This is all this was about. And then she looks the fool. Absolutely looks the fool. And I'm not defending Hegseth on this stand or not, but she looks the fool. Now, she's going to not let that slide, right? Because she's an arrogant, see you next Tuesday kind of individual. So let's see how she responds.
You'll be the one, let us just be clear, in charge of the generals. So you're saying sauce for the goose, but certainly not sauce for the gander?
I would want to see what the policy of the president is.
Oh, I'll bet you would.
Oh, I bet you would, says the woman whose entire career was about pretending to be an Indian so she could get preferential treatment throughout her entire academic career and into politics. So yeah, arrogant, see you next Tuesday, typical clowns. All right, so that's her. We got another one. What was this, Mazzy? Yeah, Mazzy Harinito, right? She's going to talk a minute here. Let's see what she's got to say.
People who worked with you at Fox News. Do you know that being drunk at work is prohibited for service members under the UCMJ?
Senator, those
Yes
are
or no?
multiple false anonymous reports peddled by NBC
Do you
News
know that
run directly
drinking on the job
contradictory to
is
the dozens of men and women at
not
Fox News
contemplated
Channel
on it?
who I work with
I'm
who
not
came
hearing
on
the
the
answer to my
record
question.
and said
In your
never
opening
seen
statement,
that.
Mr. Hegseth, you commit to holding leaders accountable at all levels. That includes you, of course. And frankly, as secretary, you will be on the job 24/7. You recently promised some of my Republican colleagues that you stopped drinking and won't drink if confirmed, correct?
Absolutely.
Will you resign as Secretary of Defense if you drink on the job, which is a 24/7 position?
I've made this commitment on behalf of
Will
the
you
men and women I'm
resign as
serving.
Secretary of Defense
I've
if
made this
you
commitment
drink
on
on the
behalf of
job?
the men and women I'm serving.
I'm not
because it's the
hearing-
most important deployment
I'm not
of my
hearing an
life.
answer to my question, so I'm going to move on.
The arrogance of these people is just astounding. Not surprising, right? That's all she wanted was that soundbite where he's not going to. They either wanted to get him to say yes, so then if they ever catch him ever at a social gathering with a wine spritzer in his hand, that they can jump on him, or to just do this, right? You're not willing to answer the question, blah blah blah. This is just the clown show that is, and this obviously there was way more to this hearing, but it was a clown show, and again. Democrats are not the sole people that do this. Republicans do it as well, right? They get you up there and they play these gotcha games. They don't let you speak and they set you up and try to get you in a trap question. This was a joke. This is the state of our government today. And we wonder why it's not working for the people. And these people, particularly the two people in this particular video, these Democrats, wonder why they got their asses handed to them. We don't have to wonder why our government's not working for us. You can see it right here. This is supposed to be our government in action. This is what's supposed to be the people guiding the policy and running our government and our legislation. These are the people running the show. These people are clowns. They're clowns. They're absolute clowns. And this is not the only example. I can pull up all kinds of committee meetings where Republicans do the same stupid shit. Okay? This is just a joke. How any serious people think this is going to get us to anything reasonable as an outcome or meaningful at the outcome. There's nothing here. This is a show. It's garbage. It's garbage. And I'm sick of it, and I think most Americans sick. I think most Americans don't give a damn about this crap. I really don't. I think the hardcore political followers, follow this. Right, and I'm sure each side will pander their version of reality to their audience, but I think most Americans don't give a damn. Trump won. Trump gets to pick, unless you find some serious reason this guy can't. Oh, he's been reported anonymously to have been drunk at several work events. I hate to break this to this Mazzy, but if you're going to disqualify someone from being Secretary of Defense because they have a history of drinking or doing stupid things when drunk while serving in the military, you're going to have to disqualify just about anybody who's served in the military. Okay? I lived outside of Camp Lejeune. I lived in a town called Jacksonville, North Carolina for several years growing up. It's the largest marine amphibious base on the East Coast. Okay? This is where the kids came out of boot camp. The Marines would come 18 fresh out of boot camp. Believe me, I saw so much stupid, drunk shit by all of them. And I don't begrudge them for it. Oh, they can't do anything because they did something stupid or said something stupid when they were drunk one time, when they were young. That makes them disqualified from anything serious the rest of their life. What kind of horse shit is that? This is as stupid as the Access Hollywood tapes were back in 2015. Ooh, we've got Trump acting boorish with other men when there's no women around. We caught him on tape. Jesus Christ, all these women that acted up and left us swept up. I hate to break this to you. Every man in your life has behaved that way at one point or another. Every single one of them. Guys are guys. They're going to behave boorishly sometimes. Deal with it. Doesn't mean they don't respect women. Doesn't mean that, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Doesn't mean they're rapists. These people are they're clowns. These are not serious, thoughtful people. They like to think they are, but they're not. So anyway, I guess that's my rant from today. Hope everybody has a great one. And if you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. And with that, I am out.